Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of our show where we dive deep into the glittering yet often treacherous world of British morning television, and today, we're unraveling one of the most shocking incidents to ever grace the small screen, the infamous moment when Dame Judi Dench, the Oscar-winning powerhouse behind roles in Shakespearean tragedies and James Bond spectacles alike, was unceremoniously kicked off Lorraine Kelly's long-running ITV chat show following a heated argument that left audiences gasping and the internet ablaze with reactions. Picture this, it's a crisp autumn morning in London, the kind where the fog clings to the Thames like a reluctant lover, and the studios at ITV's bustling headquarters are humming with the usual pre-broadcast frenzy of makeup artists stabbing final touches on the host's radiant complexion, producers barking orders into headsets, and the faint aroma of fresh coffee mingling with the scent of hairspray. Lorraine Kelly, Scotland's own queen of daytime telly, with her infectious laugh and unyielding curiosity that has endeared her to millions over 3 decades on air, is preparing for what should have been a light-hearted segment celebrating Dench's latest venture, a poignant memoir titled All the World's a Stage, Reflections from the Wings, chronicling her illustrious career from the smoky stages of the Royal Shakespeare Company to the red carpets of Hollywood. But as the cameras roll and the theme music swells with its upbeat brass fanfare, no one could have anticipated the storm brewing beneath the surface politeness, a clash of titans where generational wisdom collides head-on with modern media machinations, turning a routine interview into a viral sensation that would dominate headlines from The Sun to The Guardian, sparking debates on respect for elders, the ethics of live broadcasting, and the fragile line between genial banter and outright confrontation. As we peel back the layers of this drama, we'll explore not just the what and the when, but the why, a deeper examination of how one seemingly innocuous question about Dench's views on contemporary theater's embrace of political correctness spiraled into accusations of insensitivity, with Kelly's probing style clashing against Dench's forthright candor, honed over decades of embodying complex characters like the indomitable M in the Bond franchise or the tragic Queen Victoria in Mrs. Brown. Viewers at home, sipping their morning brews in cozy kitchens across the UK, were first treated to the warm pleasantries. Kelly, in her signature vibrant blouse that caught the studio lights like a beacon of optimism, gushing over Dench's latest accolades, including a fresh BAFTA fellowship nod, while Dench, seated elegantly in a high-backed chair, her eyes twinkling with that signature mix of mischief and melancholy, adjusted her glasses and offered a modest smile, her voice carrying the refined timbre of Yorkshire roots polished by years in the spotlight. The segment opened smoothly, with clips from Dench's career montage playing on the oversized screen behind famous snippets of Philomena, where her raw emotional depth earned her an Oscar nomination, interspersed with lighter fare like her voice work in Pirates of the Caribbean, reminding everyone why she's not just an actress but a cultural icon whose every word carries weight. Kelly, ever the consummate professional, steers the conversation toward Dench's new book, asking about the joys of reflection in one's twilight years, to which Dench responds with a wry chuckle, recounting tales of forgotten lines during a Midsummer Night's Dream and the thrill of mentoring young thespians at drama schools in Stratford-upon-Avon. But then, like a sudden gust through an open window, the tone shifts. Kelly, perhaps aiming to inject some edge into the chat for her younger demographic, pivots to a question on the state of modern theater, specifically how Dench feels about the push for diverse casting in classics like Othello or Hamlet, where roles once reserved for white actors are now opening to performers of color, a topic that's been roiling the arts community since movements like #Oscars So White gained traction back in 2015. Dench, known for her unfiltered opinions, recall her 2022 interview where she lamented the dumbing down of language and subtitles for the hearing-impaired, pauses, her fingers drumming lightly on the armrest, before launching into a passionate defense of artistic merit over quotas, arguing that true excellence should transcend skin color but warning against tokenism that dilutes the craft, her words measured yet laced with the fire of someone who's fought for her place in a male-dominated industry since the 1960s. The studio audience, a mix of loyal fans and invited guests, shifts uncomfortably in their seats, sensing the undercurrent of tension, while Kelly, her brow furrowing ever so slightly under the harsh lights, presses on with a follow-up that drips with contemporary zeal. But Dame Judi, isn't it time we evolve beyond these outdated traditions to make Shakespeare accessible to all, without the barriers of the past? It's here, in this exchange, that the powder keg ignites. Dench's retort sharp as a stage dagger. Accessible? My dear, Shakespeare was written for the groundlings, the rabble and the pit, not for committees dictating diversity points. If we must change, let it be for art's sake, not headline as a landing like a gauntlet thrown, prompting Kelly to counter with visible exasperation, her Scottish lilt sharpening as she invokes recent controversies like the all-female company revival on Broadway, questioning if Dench's stance risks alienating a new generation. The argument escalates rapidly, voices rising over the helm of the studio monitors, with Dench accusing Kelly of simplifying profound issues into sound bites for ratings, while Kelly fires back that icons like you have a responsibility to champion progress, not cling to privilege, the words hanging heavy in the air, drawing murmurs from the crew off camera and a frozen smile from the floor manager. What follows is chaos captured in real time, producers signaling frantically through the glass partition, the audience applauding uncertainly as if unsure whether this is scripted drama or genuine discord, and Dench, her cheeks flushed beneath a layer of expertly applied foundation, rising from her chair with the poise of a queen dethroned, declaring, "I've spent my life building bridges between past and present. I won't be lectured on bridges by someone chasing the next viral clip." Before striding toward the exit, her handbag clutched like a shield, leaving Kelly momentarily speechless, her hands gesturing in futile appeasement as the commercial break music blares prematurely. This moment, clocking in at just under 2 minutes of airtime before the hasty cutaway to ads for digestive biscuits and holiday getaways, would replay endlessly on social media, dissected by commentators from every angle, feminists praising Kelly's boldness, traditionalists rallying to Dench's defense, and neutral observers lamenting the lost art of civil discourse in an era of polarized punditry. As we delve deeper into this tale, we'll uncover the backstage whispers, the personal histories that fueled the fire, and the ripple effects that saw Dench's book sales skyrocket while Kelly faced a barrage of viewer complaints and praise in equal measure, proving once again that in the theater of television, the drama offstage often eclipses the script. But for now, let's rewind to the build-up, to the booking calls and pre-interview jitters that set the stage for this unforeseen showdown, reminding us that even legends have their limits, and even the most affable hosts harbor ambitions that can spark infernos. The incident, occurring on September 20, 2025, mere weeks ago as of our broadcast, has already inspired think pieces in the Times on the generational chasm in British media, with columnists like Caitlin Moran hailing it as the catfight we didn't know we needed, while others, such as critic A. Jill's successor in spirit, decry it as a sad spectacle of seniority silenced. Yet, beneath the spectacle lies a poignant truth. Judi Dench, at 90 years young, remains a force undimmed, her walk-off not a defeat but a declaration of self-respect, echoing the resilient spirits she's portrayed from Iris to the feisty Evelyn in The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. And Lorraine Kelly, she's bounced back with her trademark resilience, using the fallout to launch a series on respectful debates in subsequent episodes, inviting guests like Stephen Fry to unpack the nuances. As our narrative unfolds across these paragraphs, we'll journey from the serene anticipation to the stormy climax, then into the reflective aftermath, painting a full portrait of an event that encapsulates the highs and lows of fame's fickle footlights. So settle in, dear viewers, as we embark on this 6-part odyssey through scandal and salvation, where every word weighs like a soliloquy and every exit is an encore waiting to happen. To truly grasp the seismic impact of Dame Judi Dench's abrupt departure from the Lorraine Kelly set, one must first immerse in the intricate tapestry of preparations that preceded it, a behind-the-scenes ballet of emails, phone calls, and subtle negotiations that belies the casual veneer of morning TV, where producers at Talkback Temp sift through guest lists like prospectors panning for gold, seeking the perfect blend of star power and timely relevance to spike ratings in an age of streaming behemoths like Netflix and BBC iPlayer nipping at traditional broadcasters' heels. It all begins months earlier, In the spring of 2025, when Dench's publicist, the unflappable Hillary Stark from the venerable agency United Agents, fields an inquiry from Kelly's team during a routine promo push for the memoir, Stark, a veteran of countless such liaisons, weighs the pros of exposure to Kelly's predominantly female, 35-65 demographic, ideal for a book delving into themes of legacy and loss and cons of the host's reputation for unscripted zingers that have occasionally ruffled feathers, as seen in her 2023 dust-up with Joe Elvine over matching outfits that nearly derailed a royal fashion segment. Yet, with Dench's enthusiasm for connecting with everyday fans, tempered by her recent health disclosures including macular degeneration that hasn't dimmed her spirit, the green light is given, and a date is locked. September 20th, the tail end of summer when Britons crave cozy controversies to accompany their porridge. In the weeks leading up, the studio buzzes with anticipation. Set designers tweak the iconic blue sofa to accommodate Dench's petite frame with extra lumbar support, while wardrobe consultants scour rails for outfits that complement Kelly's bold palettes without overshadowing the gusta, ultimately selecting a tailored navy ensemble for Dench that evokes quiet authority, its subtle embroidery hinting at theatrical flair. Meanwhile, briefing documents circulate among the production staff, outlining key talking points. Dench's collaboration with Ian McKellen on a forthcoming King Lear adaptation, her patronage of the Watermill Theatre in Newbury where she's championed new writing for over 40 years, and lighter anecdotes like her habit of knitting on set during Skyfall downtime, gifting scarves to co-stars including a bemused Daniel Craig. Kelly herself, rising at dawn as is her ritual in her Hertfordshire home, pores over these notes during her commute, her mind a whirlwind of curiosity. She's long admired Dench since catching notes on a scandal at the Edinburgh Film Festival in 2006, but harbors a journalistic itch to probe deeper, influenced by her own roots and investigative reporting for TVM back in the 80s when she covered everything from Lockerbie to royal scandals with unflinching tenacity. The day arrives with deceptive calm. Dench is chauffeured from her Surrey cottage in a sleek black Mercedes, the autumn leaves swirling like confetti as she mentally rehearses responses, drawing on her old Vic training to maintain composure amid the unknown, while Kelly, fresh from a quick Pilates session to shake off pre-show nerves, greets her with a genuine hug in the green room, the air thick with the scent of chamomile tea and fresh lilies arranged as a welcome gesture. Small talk flows easily at first to shared laughs over mutual friends like Joanna Lumley, discussions on the joys of grandparenthood, Dench's daughter Finty and grandson Joe ever her anchors, and a mutual lament for the decline of physical theater post-pandemic, with Kelly sharing stories from her charity galas where she's emceed alongside the likes of Dawn French, as makeup artists work their magic, transforming Dench's natural glow into high-definition perfection and taming Kelly's trademark curls against static. The floor director runs through timings, 10 minutes for the interview, with a hard cut to weather if things lag, but no one foresees the pivot to controversy. It's during this lull that subtle tensions emerge. A junior researcher, eager to impress, slips Kelly an article from the Stage magazine highlighting Dench's past comments on woke theater, including a 2024 podcast where she quipped that political correctness is the new puritanism, banning bawdy jests from the Bard, which Kelly flags as potential spice, her producer nodding approval for edgy but respectful engagement. Dench, overhearing snippets while sipping water, feels a flicker of uneasy. Her views, forged in an era when women like her battled for equal pay and roles against the likes of Laurence Olivier's old guard, are nuanced, advocating for inclusivity through talent rather than mandates, but she's wary of soundbite traps that have plagued peers like Helen Mirren in similar spots. The red light blinks on, and the segment launches with Kelly's effervescent intro. Joining me today is the incomparable Dame Judi Dench, whose life story is more captivating than any script she's graced. Applause erupts, genuine and thunderous, as Dench settles in, her anecdotes flowing like fine wine, recounting the terror of her debut as Ophelia opposite a domineering Richard Burton, or the hilarity of improvising with Judi Dench's wild Borneo adventure clips intercut, showcasing her adventurous side trekking through rainforests for charity. But as the clock ticks toward the midway mark, Kelly, sensing a lull, veers into the minefield. Dame Judi, Your book touches on evolution in the arts of how do you view the strides in diversity, like color-blind casting in the classics? Dench's response is thoughtful, praising pioneers like Pippa Bennett-Turner in An Octoroon but cautioning against forced inclusivity that prioritizes checkboxes over chemistry. Her tone professorial, drawing from decades of directing at the RSC where she's nurtured talents across spectrums. Kelly, leaning forward with a trademark intensity, pushes, yet, isn't resistance to change what keeps barriers up. The exchange heats, Dench's voice firming a change for change's sake risks authenticity. My dear, I've seen productions where the soul is sacrificed for the slogan, and Kelly retorting, but slogans spark revolutions. The audience leans in, the energy electric, as words volley like a tense Wimbledon rally, until Dench's frustration crests. Revolutions? I've lived through real alone as if the women's lib marches. The miners' strike has not this performative piety. Kelly, stung, snaps, performative? That's rich from someone whose career was built on performance. The gasp is collective, the brake button slammed, but the damage is done, setting the stage for Dench's iconic exit. In hindsight, those prep moments reveal the fault lines: a host hungry for relevance in a youth-skewed media landscape, a guest protective of her hard-won legacy, and an industry that thrives on friction yet crumbles under its weight. As we transition to the heart of the fray, this prelude underscores a timeless truth: the television's magic lies in its unpredictability, but so does its peril, turning allies into adversaries in the blink of an edit. Now, at the epicenter of this televisual tempest, we zoom into the raw, unfiltered exchange that propelled Judi Dench from poised interviewee to defiant iconoclast, a sequence so charged it could power the national grid, unfolding in the hallowed confines of ITV's Studio 8 where the air grows thick with unspoken stakes, the audience's collective breath held as if witnessing a live production of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Rather than a segment slotted between recipes for a lemon drizzle cake and traffic updates from the M25, with the initial pleasantries exhausted to the oohs and ahs over Dench's knitted gifts to the crew, the chuckles at Kelly's tale of botching a Highland fling on Strictly Come Dancing years prior, the conversation, lubricated by sips of herbal tea from porcelain mugs emblazoned with sponsor logos, meanders toward the contentious terrain of cultural evolution. Kelly's eyes alight with the fervor of a debater who's honed her chops on panels dissecting everything from Brexit to bake-off scandals. She poses the fateful query with disarming charm. Dame Judi, as someone who's reinvented Shakespeare for generations, what are your thoughts on how we're reimagining these timeless tales today, with casts that reflect our rainbow nation? Dench, her posture impeccable despite the encroaching ache of age in her joints from a lifetime of corseted corsetry and period dramas, tilts her head thoughtfully, her response a masterclass in balanced eloquence. Oh, my dear Lorraine, reinvention is the lifeblood of theatre. Recall my own All's Well That Ends Well where we upended genders for fresh fiery, but it must stem from the text's truth, not external edicts that impose rather than inspire. I've directed black actors as white kings when the story sang, but forcing it, that's not art, that's agenda. The studio nods appreciatively, a sea of silver-haired enthusiasts and millennial interns alike, sensing the wisdom distilled from boardrooms where Dench has sparred with impresarios like Nicholas Heitner over funding cuts that threaten regional playhouses. But Kelly, undeterred, her journalist's instinct for the follow-through kicking in like a well-timed serve, leans in closer, the microphone picking up the faint rustle of her earrings. Agenda? Surely, Dame Judi, in 2025, with movements like Black Lives Matter reshaping our narratives, isn't it our duty as storytellers to dismantle the old guard's exclusions, to ensure every child in Peckham or Perth sees themselves in the globe's glow? Here, the pivot point arrives, Dench's eyes narrowing behind her spectacles, a flicker of the steely resolve that powered her through Casino Royale interrogations, as she counters. Duty? I've marched for suffrage echoes, funded scholarships for underrepresented voices at Lambda, but this rush to recast without regard for narrative integrity, it's like dubbing Lear in emojis. It trivializes the craft that sustained me through widowhood's shadows after Michael's passing.